Hi everybody, welcome to the Silhouette YouTube channel. My name is Mckenna and I'm so excited for the class that I have prepared for you guys today. This is super beginner friendly. We're going to be making an intricate banner, but I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make an intricate cut on your Silhouette machine with the all new ES mat. So go ahead and grab the supplies I'm going to tell you about and let's get started. Okay, so for supplies, guys, it's super simple today. We're basically using the machine as the all-star of this project, and then also our ES mat, and then a couple papers and ribbon. But I just want to go over the specific machine I have here today. This is the all-new Bianco Carrara Cameo 5, and it just got released. It's pretty, we announced it a while ago, but this exact colorway just got released. So we're super excited about it. You can find it on the Silhouette America website. And then we also have our ES mat, which is an electrostatic mat that uses electrostatic electricity to hold our paper into place, or whatever material we're using. And that's what's going to make today's project so easy. Sometimes when we're doing like an intricate cut, the sticky mat can make our pieces rip or curl, but the ES mat makes it so we don't have that problem at all. And then it also makes the cleanup super easy for all of our extra pieces. So those are our Silhouette products we're going to be using today. And then I also just have 2 sheets of 12 by 12 cardstock that I'm using. This is the 60-pound Recollection cardstock from Michaels. I just have a light blue and a light pink. And then I also picked up these colors of twine from Michaels. Sorry, I couldn't think of what this ribbon was called. So I have a red and a pink for today's little banner that we're going to be doing. And then you might need a pair of scissors as well, just to cut your ribbon. And then I'll show you the designs that we're going to be using once we jump into the software. So here we are in the Silhouette Studio software, guys. So I'm using the business edition, but for today's project, if you are using the basic edition or the designer edition or whatever, it doesn't really matter. So especially if you're a new user for Silhouette, everything's going to be exactly the same. And I just want to show you guys how easy it is to purchase a design from the design store and then cut it. So once you purchase a design from the design store, it's going to come up here. You're going to come up here to the library tab, and then all of your designs will show up. And I have a lot of designs, and the specific designs I'm looking for today are some little papel picadas, they're called, which are little like Mexican flags, and they're Valentine's Day themed. So this design was actually called papel picadas, or papel picados, sorry. And so I have this love you one, and then I also have the te amo one, which I'm going to mix both of them together. But I just want to open it up so you guys can see it really good. So you can see all of these little tiny pieces, these little circles, just a whole lot of negative space in here, that these pieces would be really annoying to pick off of a sticky mat. Honestly, if you are using a sticky mat, it's still possible. That's just the old way of crafting, in my opinion. So now we have the ES mat. So the design ID for the first one is 460586. And then if you also wanted to add the Spanish version, which I'm going to do today, I'm going to alternate the two. It is 460588. So I'm going to go ahead and open both of these up in my Silhouette Studio design tab just by double clicking them. So I opened one, I'm going to pull it to the side, and then I'm going to come back to my library and then double click the other one. And then these are a little bit big right now. I do want to make them quite a bit smaller. I'm planning on hanging this as like a cute little Valentine's banner like over my sink between my cabinets. So I don't quite need them to be this 9 inches wide that they are. So I'm just going to click both of them. And then if you hold down Shift while you click both of them, it will select both of them at once. And then I'm going to use these little corner boxes to go ahead and slide this down, and I'm just dragging, and it's just making it a little bit smaller. And now this is about 4.3 inches tall and like 5.5 inches wide, so they're still like a fairly good size. I'm going to make them a tiny bit smaller. So as you guys can see, because I'm making them smaller, these are going to be really tiny pieces that are going to be cut out of my design. So now what I want to do is I want to cut all of my English flags in one color, and then I'm going to cut all of my Spanish flags in the other color. So to duplicate this love you one, let's see, maybe I'll do 4 of each because that's what's going to fit on my page, and then we can see how long the banner is and go from there. All right, so what we're gonna do to duplicate this love you flag is I'm just gonna hold down the Option key on my Mac, and I'm pretty sure it's I think it's the Alt key if you're not using a Mac. And then that little plus sign appears on your cursor, and you're just gonna drag this out 3 more times. And I think that's the easiest way to duplicate your design. And then we're gonna do the same thing with our Te Amo. I'm just going to bring this up here and just do it 4 times. You really don't even have to have them lined up exactly the same. If you don't want to, you can just leave it like this, and we can now move on to the cutting. So to cut, we're going to come to the send panel, and I'm going to show you how we're going to set it up, and then we're going to go back to our machine. I'll show you how to turn the machine on and connect our ES mat and load our paper on there, and then we'll come back into our software and then send our design to the software. And actually, I realized that I got to show you how to turn the machine on before, because it's not connected down here. So we're going to go ahead and do that first. So over here, I'm just going to come over to my machine, and it does have a soft opening feature. So you're just going to kind of push up, and then it will open up the rest of the way, which is a really nice feature. And we actually already have the machine on, but our Bluetooth is not on. So we are just going to press the little Bluetooth button up here, and now it's blue and blinking. So we're going to come down here to our little machine icon, and then I'm going to select the Cameo 5s. We have a lot of machines here in the office, so I never know exactly which one I'm connecting to until I go down the list. But now our machine is connected down there. So what we need to do now is connect our ES mat. And so the ES mat just slides right under the Cameo 5. When the Cameo 5 comes, it does have a bar right here. So you just have to snap that little bar off, but it's really easy. And then you can see that the ES mat fits perfectly into this opening, because that's what it's made for. So I'm just gonna come line it up with the edges of that opening, and then I'm just gonna push it in. And it will kind of clicked in on both sides, and that's really all we have to do. And then we're going to turn it on by pressing the power button. And I'm just going to take one of my pieces of paper. Oh, and I do want to mention, I do have the protector on here, the little clear acrylic, or it's not acrylic, but the clear sheet that you need to have so you don't cut through your ES bed. So that is on there already, and then I'm just going to put my paper on this little black line, just line it up right there, and it already has a charge, as you guys can see. I'm just going to lay it right down there, and then I'm going to just get any bubbles or air bubbles out. And that's all we have to do that's different. Now, loading it is exactly the same as loading any of your other mats that you're using. So I'm just going to push in this until it hits it kind of stops, and then we're just going to press our upward arrow. So super easy. Guys, I love this mat. It's so cool. So now back in our software, we're going to change. We're actually using cardstock textured heavy. That is the material that we're using. I'm going to bump my blade depth from a 3 to a 4. That's just my personal preference. Actually, let's leave it at a 3. We'll see if it cuts, and then if it doesn't, we'll do another pass on it. But we're just going to keep it at the standard setting, and then I'm going to come down here and just click send. All right, guys, so that was a pretty long cut, because like I mentioned, this is a pretty intricate design, but it cut perfectly, and I'm going to show you guys that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and unload this just by pressing the downward arrow button like you would with any other mat, and then you're going to pull it back and turn off the electrostatic, the power, and then we're going to lift off like our big excess piece of the blue, and you can even see that like this big flag came with it, but it still is a super crisp cut. Look at that. And so I'm just going to pull up my big piece of paper first, and then I'm just picking these pieces up and just kind of shaking them until all of my little pieces come out. Some of these little tiny circles are just a little bit, they're not still attached, but we just need to poke them with the hook tool just to get them loose. Okay, so just stuff like that. But as you can see, it's just a super crisp cut. I think when we cut the other color too, you're going to be able to see it even a little bit better because there'll be more contrast there. But it's super cool. And now I'm going to show you the best part about using the ES mat, which is that the cleanup is so easy. So I'm just shaking out all my little pieces. Okay, perfect. And then to clean it up, you just hold, like kind of pick up the mat from both sides, and then you're just going to sweep it into the trash can. I'm going to pull my trash can up. And just brush it off. Oh, so many tiny pieces. Can you guys imagine taking these off of a sticky mat? All right, guys, so now we just are going to go ahead and reload it. So I'm just going to place it back on there. We have a couple little strays that flew off when I lifted it up, so I'm just going to push those out. And whenever I'm done with my ES mat, like all the way when I'm putting it away, you can just kind of sweep those extra pieces down here, and then we'll just dump that into the trash. So now I'm just going to turn it back on, let it build up a charge, and then load my pink piece on there. And then we're just going to do the same thing. Obviously, if you are going to be using the Spanish version, you're going to want to hop back in the software with me real quick. All right, so here in the software, I'm just going to draw a rectangle over my 4 love you flags, and then I'm going to draw a little rectangle over my te amo flags, and then I'm just going to drag it onto the cutting area. And then in my send panel, my cut settings were great, so I'm just going to click send. Now we've got another 12 minutes. All right, guys, so now we're just going to repeat the same process. We're going to press our downward arrow to unload it, and then turn it off, pull it back, and then I'm going to pull off my excess first. Still does have a little bit of that charge for sure. Okay, and I'm going to shake as much of these little tiny pieces off as I can. And my sheet, or my cuts came up with the sheet, but that's not an issue because they're still loose. They just need to be pulled a tiny bit. So, okay, and I actually am only going to use 3 flags, I think, for this project. So this one I'm just going to put to the side anyway because I don't think we're going to use it. Okay, so now we get to do the easiest part of the project, which is assembling it, which is also the fun part of the project. So I'm going to go ahead and just alternate these and flip them over because my pieces are, or my cord is going to be taped to the back of these. And I think I'm actually just going to do 5. So 2 pink, 3 blue, and then I have some red twine and some pink twine, and I'm going to use both of them. So I'm just going to cut to this. And this is all about like your actual space that you're using this in, how big you're going to do it, how many you're going to use, and how far apart you're going to do them. So that is up to you. I always like to use 2 colors or 2 different strings when I'm doing banners. I just like how it comes together. And then I really like to tie the side, tie a knot in the end, just so it kind of like hangs like that. And then we're just going to tape it as we go. So I did not mention tape as a supply piece that you needed when we started, because I thought that I was going to thread my twine through these holes, but they turned out way too small. So I'm just using some tape to put it in place. You could use a hot glue gun too, that would work great. So I'm just taping right in the middle. Alright guys, and then on this side I'm just going to go ahead and tie a little knot in some of my excess as well. I just feel like this finishes it off really nice. And then I'll pick it up to show you guys the final product. So this is how it turned out. Like I said, this is a super beginner-friendly silhouette project. I think it's super fun and festive for Valentine's Day, and it's really awesome that we can get such an intricate cut using the new ES mat. So go ahead and drop any questions that you guys might have in the comment section, and I'll try and get to those. And then make sure to tune in to our Silhouette channel for more videos all the time teaching you how to use your Silhouette machine. Thanks guys, and we'll see you next time.